Jesus said in Matthew 28, "Go and make disciples of all the nations." Today, only 3% of Christian donations go to global missions. What if we change that? Welcome to the Wild Frontier Fund.
My name's Don Biggie. I've been with Blazing Trees since 2018. And my ministry with Love Nations is to primarily talk to people in Russia and Ecuador and here locally about what it means to become a wholehearted follower of Jesus Christ who loves him with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength. Let me try to explain to you what it's like when someone wants to adopt you. We have so much training that we go through to raise support. We're gathering addresses and we're trying to figure out how to write letters. We're being taught how to make phone calls and set up appointments and all that. And that's initiative that I would take, that any missionary would be trained to take. But in a moment where all that goes away and someone comes to you and takes the initiative and asks you for the privilege of supporting you financially, it's a moment where you feel particularly close to the Lord and the promises that he makes as Jehovah Jireh to provide for our needs. It's of the 30 years plus that I've been following Jesus, some of the most intimate moments I've had with the Lord is when I get adopted as a missionary and I sense the warmth and power and love of his presence.
2 Corinthians 9:11 says, "God will always give you enough to be generous at all times." What if more Christians started giving directly to missionaries?
Hey, I'm Tre Baugues. I've been a missionary partner with Blazing Trees for the past 6 years. Been a support-raising missionary myself, pursuing the Great Commission with all my heart, with all my soul, all my strength. And I just recently came on board with Blazing Trees as the Chief of Development for the sake of raising funds for our Wild Frontier Fund. There's a time when I was in this crisis and asking God, is this still what you want me to do? Was that just a season of my life, and now I'm coming into a new season, having married and have a kid now. We were about to leave for a trip to go on a prayer retreat, and I didn't really think we had the funds for it, but I just felt like the Lord was leading us to do it anyways. My wife said, let's check the mail, just to make sure we don't have anything left in there. She checked the mailbox and came back to me, and there was a check in there with the perfect amount of money to pay for our retreat. The Lord confirmed to me, this is a lifelong calling. You can't back out of this because you're stressed about money. I got you. I'm going to take care of you. And so that's happened so many times for me. In those moments, it's like I feel reassured from the Lord. I'm reaffirmed in my calling. But the way that he does is he chooses to use people who are kind of on the outside looking in or hearing about what we're doing, and he uses them and their generosity in order to affirm missionaries like me. It feels like getting a hug from the Father, and we want to multiply that experience for our missionary friends on the field through the Wild Frontier Fund.
Ruth said to Naomi, "Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live." Today, we can use smartphones and the internet to stay in contact with overseas missionaries. What if more Christians adopted missionaries and supported them directly?
Once missionaries have been trained and are ready to be deployed or sent out, we generally help get them started with the basic funding they need to go to the village or the island or cross-culturally with the gospel. My name's Howard Everett, and I work for Blazing Trees, and I'm basically a project coordinator, help with different projects in different countries. My first experience where somebody became an advocate for me as a missionary, when I was in the Army, I met a lady, she was a chaplain's wife, her name was Linda Webb. And Linda Webb came along and befriended me and just adopted me. Now, flash forward years later, I'm out of the Army, I'm doing my second church plant, I'm working with college kids in San Diego, and I'm just flat broke. And she finds out that my family family, my wife and 2 children, we needed to be supported as missionaries. I didn't really know how to ask for help. And so she came along and not only started to send me some small donations, but she started talking to her friends, and she got these ladies in the Tampa area who got together for lunch, I think once or twice a week, and she somehow talked them into skipping coffee, iced tea, and Coca-Cola at lunch, and they would take their drink money and pool it together. And so once a month, I'd get a check from Florida, mostly from my mom's friends. You know, I can't tell you how important it was emotionally for me to know that, you know, this woman who had adopted me when I was a soldier took so seriously my calling that she was able to call her friends together to be part of our financial support team.
Did you know that in Exodus 36, Moses told Israel to stop donating to the tabernacle? The people were so generous that the leaders stopped fundraising. What if every missionary always had whatever they needed and could fully focus on their calling?
My name is James Harvey, and 10 years ago I started a ministry called Blazing Trees. We are a nonprofit that helps facilitate support-raising missionary funds. About 10 years ago, I had a major crisis in my calling as a missionary. As I prayed, the Lord was redirecting me to start something new, and I had no experience doing it. I just knew I needed to step forward in faith. The Holy Spirit led me to begin reaching out to some of my close friends and just saying, I have this new vision. God's given me this desire to start a new ministry. Here's what it's all about. Would you be willing to help spread the word? Tell some people, send out some emails, make some phone calls. One of those friends was Dave in Alabama. He reached out to about 10 friends, letting them know about this new ministry, Blazing Trees. One of the guys that got that message was Nick. He was a university student at the time. He began investing a lot of funds in our new ministry. I couldn't believe it. I had been supported before, but I had never seen someone give to our ministry in a way where we could focus 100% on what the Lord was asking us to do. It's because of Nick that we are wanting to help raise resources to invest in other missionaries around the world. Because how inspired I was by what Nick did, it gave me a new dream and a new vision that God could use me with others the same way that God had used Nick with us.
The Lord said in Zechariah 4, "Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit." Church, we have the Spirit and we can change the statistics. We can be a generation that fully funds the Great Commission, and the Wild Frontier Fund is a trustworthy place to start. Please pray about taking one next step of faith with us.
One of the things I want to encourage you, if you're watching this video, think about who you know that might be very excited about what Blazing Trees has been able to do by faith in the past, and how not only your personal contributions, but the contributions of friends that you might either introduce us to, or you might just advocate yourself. You might go ask your friends or family or co-workers to help us with one of our projects, and your willingness to advocate for us as missionaries could be the overwhelming key to our success by faith.
I want to invite you today to begin investing in the most important work of the church, the Great Commission. I want to invite you to pray and ask the Holy Spirit right now, Lord, what are you asking me to do? What have you been preparing for me to do? Lord, I may not have much, but what I do have, I'm willing to share. So Holy Spirit, guide me in how I can help today.